Good morning, everyone. Well, actually, good morning for us, but everywhere around the world, it's going to be good afternoon, I think. I think US is currently around midday-ish. Good to be here. Good to see everybody. We got 3 people. That's awesome. 3 people. Good start. 5. They're clicking on now. This time around, I don't know if you guys were part of the live that I did in the. I was in the Harry and Me store, probably about 7-8 minutes in, chatting away, and I hadn't pressed the live button yet, so I'm just talking to myself. Oh, they're all coming in now. Good to see everybody. Well, actually, good to see everybody through their comments. That's where it is. Welcome, welcome. Nice to be here. These lives, I don't know why I get so nervous in the lead up to them. My heart is fluttering like crazy. I don't know. Anyway, I think, you know, we filmed this stage show over last week. We've been busy. It's been nuts. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Anyway, and the MC mentioned that nerves, the excitement and nerves, it's the same chemical reaction. So when you're excited and nervous, it's the same sort of feeling, so you got to embrace it, go with it. Morning, John. Good to see everyone. Actually, I'm going to switch glasses so I can see. I normally have these glasses so I can look at the other camera. Here we go. Boom. I can see. Yajaira, buen día. Hola, ¿qué tal? Sandy, good to see you. Cam, welcome. John. I have a new person, MM from Canada. Welcome. Awesome. Ricardo, mi amigo. Hola, ¿qué tal? I always say this. Ricardo, a Chilean man living in Poland. Bada bing. I love this. You know, the South Americans, we are infiltrating the world. I love it. And I want to welcome Nichat from Greece. This is cool. We have a compatriot today. Nichat, Ilias is also... his background, there is some Greek in there. You're going to find out a bit more. Actually, I'm going to switch cameras. Check this out. Look at that. You see that? That's Saffron, and we'll talk about that in a bit more in shortly. But that's Saffron from Greece. That was given to me by Ilias. He's going to be talking about that. Yeah, globalization, Ricardo. That's where we're at, baby. And yes, Fred, good to see you, my friend. And the Discord peeps are definitely in the house. It's nice to see a lot of people from Discord. I'll tell you more about that too. I'll let everybody settle in, and we'll get cracking a bit. So you know, the funny thing is, with me and Mate, it's almost like it's like in the Wild West where all the cowboys had some kind of gun on their hip. I've got my mate constantly on my hip also. So I don't even, before I was dancing and I realized I was dancing with my mate. So I didn't even, that wasn't planned. I was just like, you know, I'm here with my mate. Ooh, we've got an Argentinian, Argentina. Good to see you. Krista, nice to see you. Yes, good morning, because another Aussie. You have to explain to your boss why you are running late today. Wasn't feeling well. Mike in the house, good to see you. Alex, I love we are world right here. We've got everybody from across the world, which is so cool. Joshua, nice to see you from Houston. I love it. This is pretty cool. All right, so what I'd love, let's I'm going to kick off because I've got Ilias in the background. He's super excited. He will be talk to us about all things Saffron. I'm not going to steal his thunder, so I'll let him share more about what he has in store for us. Actually, Ilias has put a lot of prep work, just to give you an idea. Actually, I'm going to switch glasses. Danny became a member. Okay, we're going to talk about memberships here too. So Danny, after this, you got to, I think we are connected via Instagram. I'll make sure that you're connected to that Discord group. The Discord group is going off, and but I'll come into that in a second. All right, so let me first kick off with, in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be in Paris, and I haven't organized. I wanted to talk about it here. I don't know if there's anybody from Paris right now. It's midnight over there, so for you guys, or from Europe, but I know that this will play as a video afterwards. So if there is anyone in Paris, I've got the Monday free. I'm excited that we've got the France tour happening. It's going to be pretty busy. In the lead up, I'm actually meeting some brands. Alexandre from Libertine will be there. We're going to be filming with her, and so I realized that the moment I land, we are just like we literally get off the plane, and like on a conveyor belt, they throw us on, and we're already running. So, but having said that though, I have had a few people reach out to me from the Paris region saying it would be nice to catch up, and it would be nice to catch up. So if you are in that area, I'm looking at Monday. I think it's the 16th or the 17th to do a bit of a catch up somewhere. So you let me know if you are interested in saying hi and meeting. There's a beautiful boutique called Nose. That's really impressive. I asked the Javoy people, they've got a function on that Monday, so it's going to be a bit complicated. So I thought maybe we'd go somewhere else. I mean, there's a million boutiques around Paris to enjoy. Reach out to me in private. Happy to organize something. Happy to say hello and hang out. I'm going to be shooting a mate talk, so if you're up for it, we can do a mate talk together. Yada yada yada. All right. So that's that. The next thing is behind me. You see, other way. This is the, so for those who might be new, and I need to do, actually Kevin's been telling me that I need to do a video explaining about the posters. Some people may have realized I love different art, and I love the art that happens in the background to the videos. This poster here, and I've got another poster which celebrates International Mate Talk. This is something that I started in 22. This is the 23 poster. These are limited edition posters that I've created. There are 10. I sign them, they're numbered, etc., etc. And it's more to commemorate this moment in time. Now, we did a mate talk last year while I was in Cannes, and the date that I'd like to put forward to everybody for a live international mate talk, and I'll tell you what that means exactly, is on Saturday the 26th. All right, so Saturday 26th, I'll give dates in the upcoming mate talk. And what live international mate talk is, I actually do it through Zoom. So now I can see you, you can see me, we can actually talk to each other, because right now I'm focusing on the camera. I can see a million comments just popping. And so this allows me to be in the moment with you. We can talk. In the past, we've had about 20, 30 people in that live, and that's across the world, which is pretty cool. So if you are interested in doing that, if you're interested in doing that, let me know, because I am looking at the day that I have available is Saturday the 28th. That also give me a chance to show you new stuff that we've been finding in Paris and through Europe and all that sort of thing. We're catching up with the people from Paris Monte Carlo. They're actually going to be showing us new fragrances they're about to release that nobody has seen yet. The same thing with the Une Nuit Nomade people. They're showing us fragrances that they're going to be showcasing at Cannes. So we're going to be the first to see that. So I can share that with you guys, give you a bit of a heads up. Okay. But that'll be Saturday 28th. Yep, so look forward to that. All right, last one is membership. And I saw Danny. Thank you, Danny, for jumping on and becoming a member. It's $4 Aussie. I think it's like $2, 230 euro, 250 US or something like that. What that does, it gives you access. There's three things. One, it gives you access to Discord. So we have an awesome Discord group that's happening, or community that's happening right now. By becoming a member, I'll send you a link to that and you can jump on in. There's, just so you know, the channel is where you hear my voice a lot. Within the Discord, I'll just jump in and jump out, but really it's everybody. It's the energy that's in there, conversation that's happening. I've branded both Fred and John as the mayor of Discord, because both those gentlemen are constantly sort of in most of the conversations happening. So yeah, so you'll be part of that Discord group. Then you also get a chance to be in the raffle. This Mate Talk, which will be filmed tomorrow, I'll do a raffle. So if you join today, you'll be put into that raffle. Also, for the Une Nuit Nomade promotion that we've got running, you'll get a larger wedge. And the last, and I'm not, it's interesting that all the other winners from the past promos have been members, and it's only because you have a larger wedge and a bigger presence on that wheel. And the last thing that you get as a member of the channel is you support the channel. It's not a lot. I mean, as I said, it's $4, but with everybody doing a little bit, it contributes to quite a lot. So I appreciate that. All right, boom. Announcements are done. Let me just see what's happening here because I'm seeing this thing popping, and I've got like FOMO. It's like, what are you guys saying? What's happening? Awandi, my man, good to see you. I hope I said that right. But I always love your color, your thumbnail. That poor person is suffering badly in that particular image. Nice to see you guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is, Wendy, thank you, man. I do enjoy. Actually, Matière Talk was an interesting, for those who are the OGs on the channel know that the history on that. I was meant to only do 5. Matière Talk was meant to be 5 episodes, and I didn't think it was actually going to last. I didn't think, I'm like, what am I going to talk after? You know, after 10 episodes, I'll run out of things to say. And they started off with 16 minutes, 22 minutes, and now you can't shut me up at 50. So yeah, I love that Matière Talk has developed its own energy, which is really cool. Well, I love your goat, bro. Awandi, I love the homie. Yeah, he's had a tough day. He's had a big day. Antonio, we've got a comment here. I like this one here. So Aussies are overflowed with TikTok cheap content. Please do something about it. You have some crazy Aussie kids with bad influence on TikTok. Okay. I've now become the mayor of TikTok in Australia. I will talk to them. I don't do a lot on TikTok. Let me just give you a heads up. I was there for a little while, but I've recognized that it's a different audience. I did an episode recently. I've been filming like crazy. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of an insight here, and then we'll talk about Ilias. So, as you know, I'm going to be away in 3 weeks' time. We'll be traveling for about 4 or 5 weeks, and I don't want to let you guys down. So I've been filming. I've been creating a catalog of content so that while I'm away, things are still being able to be pushed out. So I just wanted to tell you that I'm representing the team. I'm working hard. Sandra as my witness. She's actually impressed at the amount of content that I'm pushing out. It's all bad. All right. So it's like that scene in Simpsons where Bart Simpson keeps putting up his hand and the teacher's like, Bart Simpson, and then she says, Bart Simpson, just shut up. You're getting all the answers wrong. You've been getting the answers wrong all day. So yes, there's a lot of content, but it's all, the lighting is bad. The conversation is horrible. No, that's not true. I've been working very hard. I've been working really hard to try to create this backlog of content. I had an email this morning, a comment, and I'll respond to them. I'm not sure if they're here. Stop talking about Zerjoff was the bottom line. We're done with Zerjoff, which I understand that I love Zerjoff. I mean, when you love something, you love something. What can you do, right? But the good news is all the content that's coming out that I've been pushing out, very little Zerjoff conversation. There's a lot of stuff, other things that are actually coming through. So you'll be happy. All right, let me start with this. Talk more about Zerjoff. I hear you, Vic, man. You don't need to encourage me. You don't need to encourage me. Oh, okay, I'm getting everyone. Never stop talking. I hear you too, Awandi. I don't want to stop talking. I got Danny here. Glad I caught the live. We discussed Clive Christian, X and Eaglemont. Yes, happy to say that I have a bottle of E. Congrats, man. That baby is gorgeous. And I couldn't be happier. Yep, you're welcome, Danny. You're welcome. And I think Clive Christian E is underrated. A lot of people don't talk about it, but it's an absolute find. It's gorgeous. All right, enough of this. Oh, hang on. I brought Renaissance Antonio. Mama look, baby. Actually, I am doing there is a lineup that is being filmed this week, which is the additional Zerjoffs. Mama Luke will be part of that, and Ether will be part of that. Check out Ether. And you saw my 5-star general, but that one there, it's pretty wild. It's a wild ride, that baby. Yes. What do you think about Fragrance du Bois New York Intense? I haven't experienced that. Maybe I did spray it early on. Having said that, though, I will check it out. I'll check out New York Intense, but I'm pretty certain. I mean, it's a Fragrance du Bois. I love that brand, and so I'm sure it'll be pretty spectacular. Okay, I'm going to stop because Ilias is in the background, and I want to bring him forward. Before I do that, I want to show you some of his imagery that he's created. So he's a photographer. He's super artistic. His background is massive, as in he does so many different things. So he creates incredible imagery. Let me just get rid of my background so that these images look better. These photos look better, sorry. Give me 1 second, everybody. Okay, here we go, Pop. So he does a lot of live photography in events and things of that nature. And this is some of the work that he's created. So, I mean, check that out. For photographers, you understand the complexity of that particular shot, the lighting. I mean, you can see the woman's face. But anyway, it's just incredible photography. I love this shot, the simplicity of it, but the composition of the shot, the lighting on the young girl, the images that you see behind you. I mean, there's so much depth to that particular image. It's really spectacular. I love this capturing a moment in time, just the body position and, you know, everything about that. And I love this guy. I've named him Duncan. I don't know whether that is Duncan, but he's got a Duncan look about him, don't you think? And he looks like he's in the middle of a hoe dance, of like a you know. But again, another great shot. I mean, the lighting, the lighting on him, the effect behind. I mean, just gorgeous. So who is this man? Who is the great Ilias? So this is the homie right here. I love this shot. It looks like he's on a set of Mad Max, Road Warrior, and they sort of just caught him at the right time. And then there's this shot here. Look, what a boss! He's got a big fat cigar in his hand. Look, I love the goggles. It looks like Bono, Bono's brother, and I love all the beads. I mean, how many more beads could you add to that arm or that hand? Is what I want to know. And boom, here's my man. This is the great.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for sharing the pictures there, Marcelo.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, where do we start? Those pictures were
Well,
taken.
I think it would be nice. Give us a little bit of a background. Who is Ilias? Nobody, you know, I mean, Ilias has been in the background. When I say background, he's a local Aussie boy here in Melbourne. Met multiple times at the Oillataguerre store. So I think, you know, you're just a bit of a, who is Ilias? You're Greek, but you were born in Germany and you lived all across the world. So yeah, give us a bit of background.
Yeah. So was born in Germany by immigrant Greek parents, and grew up partly in Germany. Then, you know, my parents wanted us to be Greek, so they took us back to Greece, where I also went to school. But the village that that I lived in, and where I still have my parents have the house, it wasn't big enough for me. So at 17, I left and went to the U.S., where I finished high school. I lived in St. Louis, of all places. Got familiarized myself with Mark Twain, who's become one of my favorite writers. A really funny guy. Went to university in the U.S., and then at some point missed home. Went back to Greece, did my military service, and worked and lived in Greece, Germany, the UK, and my father, he was betting with me, every decade of my life. He's like, "You're gonna slow down." A few years ago, I was about to move to Malaysia, so
You're a man of the world.
Going into the 6th decade of my life, and it's the adventure is calling, I say. So I found myself in Australia 12 years ago, and landed here, rented a car, and for the first 3 months we were like gypsies living out of a car, driving around until I found a job in Melbourne.
I love that you are literally the man of the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think it also, by seeing so many different things, it opens your eyes to, anyway, I love travel. I love travel for the experience of it, but also for the fact that you realize that the world is bigger than just your little neighborhood or whatever it may be that you're in.
Yeah, I was with my wife 4 years, 2 years married. We ended up going back to St. Louis to see the host family I was with. And after 3 days with the host family, she's like, "Now I know where you're from," because it was a life-altering experience. I'm getting goosebumps now. Living with another family, and it just changes the perspective living in different countries. But I actually lived like a local, and this was back in the time where I actually got newspaper snippets by mail a week or two later to follow on the news, because this is early 90s, right? So right. No Facebook or TikTok.
Yeah. All right, so Mr. I'd love you to share some of your fragrances, because just so you know, everybody, I normally like a live to go for about an hour, probably an hour and 10. So we'll probably end up here, Ilias, at about, say, 8:50 or so. That gives us another 10 or so minutes to wrap up. We will look at your questions. So this is about engagement with everybody here. If there's any questions that you may have for Ilias, please put them in. Sandra's doing her best to push that forward, and that way we can address those. But the floor is yours, my friend. I'd love to. I don't actually have any perfume on, so I'm looking forward.
Neither do I. But before we start, I was just going to say, let's mate.
I like that mate across the world, babe. Well, it's actually in Melbourne at the moment, but still, the mate is where it's at. I love it. Good for you, man. Ilias, we've got a question for you on the.
That was an Arturo Fuente. Yep. My favorite brand of cigars. Been smoking them since the early 90s.
Oh, you got another question here from Ricardo.
All right, so
Saffron. Hey, Ilias, sorry to interrupt. Yep. You've got a question from Ricardo about your photos, bro.
Yeah, I do have an IG. Is the Nomad Photographer, and it's _they_Nomad_photographer.
What I'm going to do, team, is I will put a link to Ilias's Instagram page on this. Once the live is done and we push it out, I'll make sure that in the comments there'll be a tag there, so you can click on that and jump across to him.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So Saffron, one of the things that I haven't mentioned is I love cooking. So I think I'm a better cook than I'm a photographer. And I do spend countless hours in the kitchen. I grew up in restaurants and have been in the food business all my life. So spices is something that always was very, very interesting. It through history, there were wars, there were trade routes, it's just something magical and mystical for me when it comes to spices. Saffron being saffron and being so expensive, and it's not widely used, partly because of the cost, was something that I always loved, and I do use occasionally. Wouldn't be something I use every day, although when I am in Greece, I do take Greek krokos is the Greek word for it, and also the what do you call it, the scientific name for it. And they have teas. I'm not far away from Kozani, where the growing area is, about 60 k's. And I drink tea there all the time, and I do bring some with me. And I, but it's not something that you can have in Australia for every day. Saffron, so it's found since the Bronze Age, so it's something that has been around for millennia. Cleopatra used to bathe in it. Alexander the Great used to bathe in it. It's supposed to heal wounds. It's supposed to make you smell nice. It was the Buddhists initially, before they used turmeric, they used the saffron. Turmeric came afterwards. Ayurvedic medicine, and the Chinese, actually, interestingly enough, through the Silk Route, have saffron in their medicinal side, but they've never actually gotten to use it in their food. And there is, where was it found? Greece has paintings. In Greece, you find some paintings in Akrotiri, which is in the island of Santorini, and there is the Minoan civilization, and there's a painting where there's a woman picking a crocus flower. It's just something about history and how that's all connected, because food is the one thing that unites us all somehow. It ended up in Persia, and then the Arabs took it to Spain. The Romans before that had taken it to North Europe. So there is actually a town in England called Walden Saffron. And in the 16th, it used to be known as Walden, and then in the 16th century, they actually started growing saffron, so they became Walden Saffron, which is south of Cambridge, so between England, London and Cambridge. Right now, it's grown in a few places, but to just give you an idea, it's only Iran who is the biggest producer, 60 tons. So you need an acre for 1.5 kilos. Right. There are many types of saffron, and the Greek saffron is different to the Spanish one, and I'll talk about that when we talk about Matière Première. So I can talk about saffron and take you through, but obviously we want to start talking a little bit about some of the perfumes. So yes, why saffron today? I actually have a list of all my perfumes, and I list all the different notes, and I kept coming up with saffron, and I'm like, something going on here. And so I'd say 80% of my perfumes have saffron in them. I thought to myself, well, let's talk about saffron today. So this is Upper 10. It's probably the first niche perfume I bought probably about 6-7 years ago. I used to have a lot of, like yourself, the Eternity, Aramis, and all the designer ones over the decades. But then somehow I came across this bottle, and it's an Art Deco, and I liked how it looked, so it piqued my interest. Smelled it.
Just for those who might not be familiar with Upper 10, the brand is Lubin. It's a French brand. It's been around since 17-something. They were original perfumers to Marie Antoinette and the royal court, to give you an idea of the long history. And actually, that history has been continuous. So it hasn't stopped and someone else sort of interrupted. That they've been producing perfumes for about 200-300 years now.
So when it comes to, somebody just mentioned what the shelf life for saffron is. If you keep it in an airtight container, I've actually kept it for years. It does change slightly, and you will notice that the color goes darker. So just keep it in an airtight container. They actually usually come in these. This one is about 1.5 years old now, and it's perfect still. So no issues there. Just make sure it's in an airtight container and keep it away from sunlight and all that sort of stuff. It will absorb anything that it can absorb.
Right.
So back to Upper 10. So I actually sprayed this yesterday as well, as I did all of them. Yesterday I smelled a lot of different perfumes. So the opening, it's all saffron. And right. I mentioned that I want to talk a little bit about this. This and the next one will be where saffron is used as a top note. So saffron is the opening of a perfume. It's basically the invitation. Come to me. Let's go on this journey together, right? So, and saffron has this spicy. It's very alluring. A lot of people. It's almost regal. It's elegant. So it's just that invitation to come in and go through with me on this journey. So Upper 10 has peach. Apparently, I'm not a specialist in fragrance, so I haven't gone to any school or anything. But I've smelled plenty in my life. I still cannot smell some of the notes that are in here, but saffron comes and stays for a while, maybe in the first half hour, and to me personally, when that happens, when I smell that saffron, it just, you made it. That's the feeling.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
For me, the saffron is very subtle. What I get on that opening, so for those who may not be familiar with Upper 10, it's, I would say, classic gentleman's fragrance. So it has the DNA of those aromatic dry woods component. It would be in line with a good masculine fragrance. I don't detect the peach note, but I do. There is a slight fruity note in that opening, but I don't get the saffron that I would. So had you not said saffron, I would have missed it altogether. I'm getting more aromatics.
So you didn't get it as you sprayed?
Nope.
Okay. But you're right. So this ends up being a woody. Go.
I was going to say, I've been smelling as you've been talking. So this saffron here is what Ilias shared with me. So that's similar to the one that he has there in the. And I realize now I've taken out of the airtight container, so I've destroyed it, which makes me sad. But anyway,
no, just put it back.
Put it back. That's right. It almost has a fruity, earthy tone to it, but there's a slight leathery. That saffron that I'm familiar, that slight leathery in the background sort of note to it. It's actually quite complex. There's a lot of different notes all emerging. And as I'm pinching and crushing it, I'm getting this different scent profile to it. But I get, there's another scent in there. Anyway, what I'm saying is that smell maybe is the fruit component. Yeah, because normally I expect saffron to have that slight suede leathery touch to it, whereas here, I'm getting more of an aromatic fruit, sort of like. Is there lavender in the top note here or something of that nature?
No, juniper and pink pepper, saffron and bergamot.
There you go.
So, and it dries. So yesterday I actually sprayed every single one that we're going to talk to about today. It ends up, it has a relatively good longevity, and it ends up being a woody, sweet, like woody, perfume. And I find this to be a very classy. Can be an everyday wear.
It has
it's very classy.
It's like I think, like you mentioned before, Art Deco. The moment you said Art Deco, I'm like, I can see there's someone in the 1920s wearing this in a top hat. Looking very dapper.
Yeah.
Classic.
So what happened about a year ago is I was looking on YouTube, and then I somehow came upon your channel, and I watched the one video where you're walking backwards in Paris.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm like, this is a good-looking, well-dressed, good-looking, handsome fella. And then I realized when I saw the one with Is it Alexandra in Melbourne that you're actually from Melbourne, and then I just reached out, right? So long story short, I didn't know Manos Gerakinis until you mentioned it, and I went to see Kevin at the Oligarch, and then I got Rose Poetique from my wife. Now Rose Poetique has saffron in the top note as a top note as well.
Yep.
And this definitely opens up very different to the other one because it's a lot more floral. As it's got rose in it. It's got saffron and rhubarb as a top note, and I think it's female leaning, but I've worn it, and I mean I like rose, so
yep.
So just that comment.
For those who might not be, so I'll interject again. For those who might not know the house, so Manos Gerakinis, Greek house, probably I think the first Greek house out there. This is not Rose Poetic, the one that Ilias is speaking about, but that's what the bottle looks like. He's a local Greek perfumer, loves to use local ingredients. There you go. There's the bottle there.
And he's got one that's a peony, I think, that I've smelled when I was at the Oligarch, and that's really good. So we got a comment, Region Leather and Riviera have saffron by Antonio. So a lot of there's many perfumes out there with saffron. I've got just a selection, and that's a selection of what I have. And so again, this is about using saffron to open up and take you through that journey. So Rose Poetique, it's an oriental, where the other one is more of an English, French, I would say, classic type of perfume. This is more, it leans oriental.
Yep.
And floral.
And the rose, even though it has the rose in it, it's not overtly rose, and it's not.
No.
I'm smelling it now. I know that you said that you bought this for your wife, but this is a fragrance that a man can easily wear.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ambery, spicier notes, as you mentioned there, are really impressive.
Yeah, it's got cashmere wood in it, so and sandalwood, musk, vanilla. So and it has a beautiful dry down as well, and it lasts a long while as well.
Yeah.
And any of these, by the way, that I talk about, I don't care if it's winter or summer. So the oud fragrances, which can be really potent, are worn in 45 Celsius in the Middle East, and people don't. It's one of those things. If I feel like wearing it, I wear it.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't think Spirit of Dubai is overusing saffron. I think they're underusing it, but that's just me.
Actually, Ilias loves strong, pungent scent profiles. So it's interesting. See, I can't wear an oud fragrance in summer, and I know that as Ilias pointed out, that Middle Eastern countries, that's what they, that's the fragrance of choice for that sort of weather environment. Anyway, we were doing a smell and explore at Oligarch. One of the channel members, Max, brought in, I think, this fragrance, and I'm not lying. It was swamp. What was it again?
Swamp something. I know that, but
it was the most. It made your eyes just water from the. It was horrible. It was terrible. Ilias is smelling this like it was a bouquet of flowers. He's like, "This is so good."
It must be in the genes, though, because you remember my son loved it too, and so there must be something.
I actually took it off. So Ilias has a 16-year-old son, and his name is Ben, and he's like, "This is so good." I actually took it off him. I said, "Brother, you do not. This is not for you. You want something that's a little bit more. Let your dad do this stuff, but you are not allowed."
Yeah, he learned his lesson. He was wearing leather tabak from Zaharov in school, and people were telling him off. He's just his mate, so he's not wearing a bit more. He's got the boy 1920.
You got to bring it down a level or two, Yeah. Anyway, next one. What do you got, my man?
So this company here, La Manufacture, is one I actually found at the Oligarch as well, and it's one of those things. When you go to Oligarch, you get overwhelmed. There's well over 1,000 perfumes, and I've gone in there dozens of times, and I still have only explored a small part of it. And this one is actually at the bottom shelf, and you know how you don't really look at the bottom shelf. So, my shoes, I needed to tie my shoe, so I kneeled and I came face to face with it. Then I asked Kevin, and he suggested a couple. So I have 3 by now, and I'm planning on buying a couple more. So this is Rev Ottoman. So Reve means dream, I believe. So this is an Ottoman dream. So this is a very, very, very much an oriental.
I'm picking up more the saffron on this.
Yeah, and this one is now, these two, this and the next one is where saffron is used in the heart of the perfume.
The saffron.
Yeah, and you will get a lot. So where the other one, the first two, the saffron actually dissipates after a while.
Right.
With this one, it will linger for a long while. So the next two that I'm going to talk about, I sprayed them yesterday in the morning.
Yep.
And when I woke up this morning, I could still smell them. So the longevity on those 2 next ones are probably the best out of the whole group. But
could you show that bottle again? Because that's one that I don't have. Yeah, so show that bottle. So everyone, just if you do love, where upper 10, the saffron is very light. If you like that leathery saffron complexity, I'm picking it up more on the Reve. Is it Rev Ottoman? Is that what you pronounce it?
Rev Ottoman.
Okay, all right. So this one here has I guess the more classic component of the saffron that I'm familiar with. And what's the floral in there?
The floral is damask rose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And one of the things that I keep coming across is the fact that it's often paired with rose, and it's no surprise because Persian roses and Turkey and the Ottoman Empire, so
Right.
and saffron, so they're connected both in food. So you get rose water as well in lots of different foods and sweets. So they're connected. This is basically what the name says. So this is me sitting, with an Ottoman Pasha a couple hundred years ago. It's very sensual, I believe.
Yeah.
That's it's addictive. It's one where I actually always put my nose close to it and just keep smelling it. There is it's ambery, so I would say you're better with classifications than me. So it's a sweet ambery.
Yep. I believe you.
Now the next one, this one you've spoken about on the channel.
Yes.
And I had to try it. This is Sacro Profano.
Yep.
I love juxtapositions when there's two different things pulling at each other.
Yeah.
Tension is creativity, right? So so this one, let me have a quick spray on this. This one, I woke up this morning and I could clearly, like, this was still on my arm, and I go like, mama. Ooh, babe.
This one has oud. For those who may want to know, so the reason why Ilias is saying "oh mama" because it has the sassiness of the oud. I find that the oud comes out really fast out of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But the saffron and this here is, at least I believe, where the saffron makes the oud smell nicer in the opening until the oud settles down.
Right, I agree. Yeah.
So you can, it's got that brightness with the saffron, the pink pepper, and it's got that orange as well. There's not many notes in this one, and then but you can feel that in the background, that oud lingering and trying to fighting for it, and then obviously it settles down into that. It's not very animalic. I mean, that there's a lot of animalic ouds out there.
What I love about this is that the classic pyramid is the citrus in the opening, yada yada, where I feel like it's inverted, and the oud's in the base, where I feel like when it opens, it's that pyramid is inverted, and you get that oud very quickly, and then slowly begins to dry down to the saffron, and then you're getting the citrus very deep into the actual wear of the fragrance. So I find it it's a surprising, complex fragrance, So when you look at the notes, you think, oh yeah, I understand what's going to happen. It's not what you think. So it's one that you need to experience too.
And Sacro Profano, I guess the Profane is the oud. Sacro is the brightness that you get in the beginning. So how it just changes, and because this one is one where the journey is quite interesting. There's it goes in different places. And by the way, shout out again, and I know you've spoken about this in a lot of detail, the bottles, and we have a couple of different ones from Bois 1920. They're just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Just we are, and not to spoil my own thunder, and it may not. We've got meetings with the Cannes, with the boys in Cannes, but next year we are doing a tour through Italy. We will be in Florence, and we are in deep conversation with the team from Bois 1920 for them to be part of that tour. So Bois 1920 integrated into Florence very deeply. They've been there since 1920. So yeah, if you haven't explored that house, big recommendation. Massive collection, beautiful fragrances, and everything is Nothing is offshore. So sometimes what happens is that houses will buy certain components offshore and bring it into the country. Everything is actually from Italy. So it's all hand touched. These are hand painted. So yeah, everything that Ilias is saying is exactly right.
And one thing about this house as well, it has interesting. So we got the Duro Cafe, which is part of the same series, I believe, but it's got so many different like segments, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but it's not like one direction. It's got a series in this direction, a series in this direction. There's a lot of love and care, and I do love the bottles, and it's pretty heavy as well. The lid is heavy. It's nice. And again, thanks to for introducing me to that one. I wouldn't have known. So we're coming to the last one.
Yes, sir.
This is where Saffron is the main player.
The best to last?
Yep. My God. Sorry, I gotta. This one goes. Today I'm working from home later on, so.
Yesterday I caught up because obviously these ones I don't have from the ones that Ilias is talking about. We were doing a decant. It was a dodgy deal in this back street in an area called South Melbourne, industrial sort of place, and it looked like we were doing some kind of dodgy stuff.
You turn around and did this,
and we're doing it. Like, what are those two doing? Anyway, I gave Ilias a hug and a bro hug, and what was popping was this baby here. It was like I knew he was going to be wearing something saffron, but it was crystal saffron. It was just like.
There's a couple different ones. This one lies close to my heart because it specifically calls out the Kozani. So Kozani is in the mountains in north in what we call Macedonia in North Greece, and apparently this has actually piqued my interest, and I actually did a bit more research about the actual saffron. So there's somebody mentioned the channel. There's a lot of different varieties, and that's true. So this one has the one from Greece is brighter, is not as dense as some of the other ones, apparently. So I have not had Spanish or Persian here to actually try that in my food, but this one, you spray it. I don't know what is there to say. It's a saffron bomb, right?
It's a saffron bomb.
Yeah. But it opens up very bright, and I think that what do they have something that actually so the abroxan apparently.
Right.
Not sure what that is. I know that a lot of perfumes nowadays have that, but I think that kind of gives it another push, that note. I don't know, but it's saffron all the way, so it's relatively linear, I would say, and you smell the same thing. So you smell like a king, like Alexander the Great if you're a male, or Cleopatra if you're a female. So not a bad thing, I guess.
I find that absolutely. I find that also it's a lot, as you've been saying, Ilias, it's a lot brighter than the other saffrons. Sometimes saffron can be used as ambery and leathery and the suede components. Where here it actually pictures I can picture a Greek landscape, sunshine, brightness, the ocean, all that sort of stuff. All right, so got a question here, bro.
With time, it goes a bit on the smoky side.
Okay.
A bit, like you get the woody, smoky kind of thing. But again, as we've talked many times, perfume can be very different. The one I wanted to love, and I know you love, but I cannot stand, is Tony Iommi, right?
Right. Yes. Isn't it that interesting? We had this conversation. Actually, let me address his from Nosy Noseworth. Short answers, I don't know. Unless you know this, Ilias. I don't have Oud for Greatness, and so I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how these things compare. I never like to make. I only talk what I know. So I'm sorry that I can't. Oh, there you go. We've got. If anyone else can answer that question on behalf of for Nosy, that would be amazing.
I wonder.
You were saying about Tony Iommi. So Tony Iommi, Does it have a saffron note? I can't remember now.
No, I don't think so. But I wanted
I
to
know it
love
has
it
a
so
leather
much.
note.
But yeah, it was almost putrid to my nose. I went to Libertine and I'm like, today I'm buying Tony Iommi, but we don't want to buy black bind. So I went and sprayed it and I'm like, you got to be kidding. It's probably one of the very few where I go, my
Isn't
God.
that crazy?
And I like the swamp thing, right?
Yeah.
But the nose is different. The skin chemistry is different, obviously, too, but it's nose, the olfactory senses are, distinct to each one of us. So
it's wild. When Ilias mentioned that he doesn't like Tony Iommi, I'm like, what is wrong with you? But yeah, interesting. And I think what you're saying before is that skin chemistry is one, and also I know that there's another gentleman, Max, again, that passion fruit note on that opening is like a major no-go for him. He really struggles with that opening from that fragrance. Okay. Bravo. All right, my man, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Any questions for Ilias? So as people are coming in or any questions come through, saffron is one of those classic notes, and as you've just seen, it can be used in so many different ways. I love how Ilias has shown how it's used in a top note, in the heart, etc. If I go back to the upper 10, for me, the saffron is very, very subtle. I'm primarily getting the more. There's even like a metallic note now near the bottom there. It's not that it has a harshness, but it just has a more of a masculine presence to it. The one that I've really loved, by the way, bro, is the Rose Poetic.
Yeah.
I've been smelling that, and now see yes, it has rose in it, but it's not. I mean, again, I'm always talking about men. I really encourage you guys to take on florals in your fragrance. Don't be afraid of them. So Rose Poetic, if you're able to test it out, I'd recommend it to you. The rose is very subdued in place of that saffron note. If anything, if you didn't know that rose was in there, you wouldn't actually, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't go, oh, it's a rose fragrance. All right, John C., the mayor of Discord. So question here, I recall crystal saffron smelling similar to Ganymede. Okay, but without the bold metallic note. Do you get that as well? Okay, so I don't have Ganymede in my collection either. I remember from Ganymede, it was sweet, but that's just off memory, and I could be completely wrong. Have you smelled Ganymede?
No.
Okay.
But this one is not metallic, at least not to my nose.
No. Not at all.
Is there an extra version of the crystal saffron?
I wouldn't touch it. There is. He's come out with an extract. I'm going to be scared of that. I have to be honest with you, because I feel that I'll go one more. I lent this to Kevin. He returned it in a day and a half. He's like, "Whoa, too strong, brother. This is like I can't do this."
It is.
It's a power bomb. This baby here is. So I'd be interested to see.
You smell like a king, though.
You smell like it. So just so you know, just being quantified, it's a gorgeous fragrance. Love to wear it. It's a summertime fragrance for me. It does have that Mediterranean sort of brightness. As I mentioned, I do feel like it's transportive to Greek landscape. The suede that you're normally familiar with or associate to saffron, to my nose, does not exist here. It's not that leathery touch. It's slight in the background somewhere.
There is a bit of leather in the background, but it's not a leathery fragrance.
No, not at all. But big recommendation. I like it. I enjoy it, as I said, but it's not for everybody. You need to test. Just be careful. It's not what you think.
Now that I know that the extracts are gonna be coming out, because I'm really interested in this brand, I'll be buying. I'll get you to test it too, if you like.
I just know that it's this version here, which is the Eau de Parfum, is a power bomb. It lasts forever. It's potent. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what the extracts actually do.
But it was on my skin. It was definitely outlasted by this little guy here.
Interesting.
But even the bottle on this one, I mean, it looks like what it makes you feel like. It's a thick glass. It's got a good presence on the shelf. It's I'm having a bad morning and I want to feel good. I want to feel like I'm gonna get things done. A couple sprays of this helps a bit. There's a bit of vanity there, but hey.
There's no vanity, baby. No.
But there is a lot of other ones, and I have in my on my shelf as well. I wanted to, we had the discussion. I actually had proposed a few more, I believe, in my first initial chat with you. There is Ombre Saffrano. There is Saffron Rare. There's a lot of Middle Eastern ones that use it as well. The list is endless.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But it's most often used in the opening rather than, there's very few that use it in the heart. So I actually went through, then I'll finish up, I guess. But on Oligarch webpage, when I start looking at this just to get an idea of what's out there, I put Saffron. I came with 16 pages and I went through every single one, right? And there was only 2 or 3 that had it in the base.
Right.
Most of them overwhelmingly in the opening, because it gives you that, it gives you that, I guess, that elegance, that regal, it gives you that, that invitation. I smell good.
Right. Yep. The funny thing is, as you're saying all that, all I'm smelling is crystal saffron, and I've sprayed everything at the moment.
I know.
I was smelling rose poetic, but all I'm smelling right now in the air is crystal saffron.
It lingers. So I've heard, reading about this, I've heard people who find it way too strong, as you mentioned, Kevin. People who said they've got headaches and they had to give it away. I think Saffron Rare is very similar in that it can be really boom and it stays.
Yep. Captain, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate you putting all the, because I know you've been doing a lot of research behind the scenes, so I appreciate all the effort and energy you put into creating this for everyone.
Anytime. Just keep doing what you're doing. Much love.
Thank you.
See ya.
Arigato.
In Greek, Efcharisto.
Efcharisto. Barakalo.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro. See you, mate. Well, there you have it, Ilias. Thank you so much. He's a champion, and just so you know, he put in a lot of work for this. So he was really he was scientific about it, in the sense of wanted to create a bit of a structure for everybody. If you love saffron in different parts of the fragrance, as he mentioned, top note, etc., then he wanted to create a bit of a collection there. We're doing, the next live will be in October. It looks as if we might have a taker for that. I won't disclose the discussion that's happening behind the scenes, but if you're a member of the channel, that's another benefit. If you want to share about your collection or something you're passionate about, saffron in this case with Ilias, then as a member of the channel, I give you a chance to spotlight and you can be part of that conversation. So yeah, become a member, baby. That's the bottom line. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm going to wrap this baby up. I'm going to switch glasses. And thanks, Ilias. Yeah, you're a champion, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anything from anyone you guys would like to sort of, before we wrap up, any questions for me? I love that the episode last night, Basso, it created a lot of conversation that was quite interesting, entertaining. I appreciate, so Philippe, if you end up watching this video, thank you for jumping in, because some of those other fragrances, I haven't experienced them. So I really appreciated Philippe jumping into that and sharing his view, being that he had also experienced the other fragrances there. Thanks, Ricardo. I'm glad that you enjoyed this. And yeah, look, Fred, Basso's awesome. I'm a fan. I enjoy the fragrance a lot. So yeah, I wonder another. Yes, I wonder. I saw your collection, brother. I mean, I'm impressed. So you've I am a big fan of all things Suspiro. I think they do things really well. I do like, as you've seen, I like a variety of fragrances in that you need some fragrances that are a bit more intimate, not too, bombastic and, fill a room. But then sometimes you do want those. You want those that are really just like have presence. And I find that all the Suspiros deliver that in spades. Sandy, yes, absolutely. I hear you. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate it. Thank you, mate. I really do. Luke, another local Aussie boy. I appreciate your support. Actually, I appreciate the support of all those who are here, who provide that beautiful, positive energy. I'm grateful for the strength and the vibe that comes through. So thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Allora. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this baby up. If there's nothing else that you guys would like to share, Matière Talk will be filmed tomorrow. So if you become a member today, you'll be in that mix. And I'll make sure that I like to curate 10 different samples. So there'll be 2 winners. I like to spin twice. And that's across the world. So anywhere across the world, I'll send those samples through. Don't forget, there is the Une Nuit Nomade promo still running. So a full bottle of Une Nuit Nomade, your choice. I also sent anywhere around the world, and I'll be spinning that when I get to Paris. I'll be with Philippe, who is the founder of Une Nuit Nomade, and he'll spin the wheel. So that'll be fun. Bit of last question. Any favorite fragrance from Toscavat? Darius, Toscavat is a tough company. All right, so the one that I own is Age of Innocence. I do enjoy it. However, it's not a fragrance. I wear that for me, and I wear that when I'm going out to a large space. It does have a very potent oud note in there. It's an unusual combination with the fairy floss, raspberry, sugary sweetness, and this oud. It's actually wild. It's a wild ride. It's an enjoyable fragrance. However, and with my producer in the background, my beautiful wife, Sandra, when I wear that, she tells me to get out. I wore it once. I forgot that I was wearing it. And this was like, I'd worn it. I was in the office by myself. So, I'm relishing in the joy of this fragrance. I came home for dinner and she's like, get out. She's like, what are you wearing? So just be aware that, and I find that all the Toscavats tend to be that. I mean, they're artistic, and he's expressed himself in a very unique way. So that's my thing. Oh, inexcusable evil, forget about it. I did a Matière Talk on this, and I actually said that. So David is the owner, awesome young man, super talented. And I'm like, I don't know if he actually. I think this was a creative expression than an actual perfume, because, man, I had to wash it off. That thing was like, it was intense. It was intense. John, I agree. They are something else. They're pretty wild. They're a beautiful art expression. And look, let me just say this. I don't have a lot of, there's another one which is what's the one from Libre et Orange? The what is it? Secretion Magnifique. I don't know that. That's like, I want to, and maybe it's vanity in me, but I do like when people go, well, you smell really good. So a lot of the fragrances that I own, there might be a few sassy ones in there, but ultimately I wear fragrances, to denote me. And, this is Marcelo. Horribly beautiful. And I know that Ricardo, there's another beautiful house out there, which is a little bit more accessible, which is Beaufort, London. I think I mispronounced that. Beaufort, London. They have beautiful collection, but again, super intense. I love that the owner of that house was the drummer of the Prodigy. So for those who are familiar with the band, the Prodigy, very wild sort of music. He actually created this house, and they're pretty wild. But as Ricardo put beautifully, what did he say? He said, beautifully horrible. It's just wild. Yeah, I love it. Boom. Anything else, everyone? Always a pleasure. Honestly, always a pleasure. I want to wrap it up, but I can see more things coming through. What Fred said, yes, Luke, I think you have access to, I'm pretty confident that Luke is a member. Where are you, my friend? Luke, yes, you are. You need to, I think I've sent you the Discord link. Anyway, that's a conversation we can have offline. So to become a member, you can do it off your you can do it off your mobile. I can tell you right now how to do it. It's super easy. In the upcoming Matière talk, I'll show you how to do it. Because if you actually do it this way, if you Google on YouTube how to join or become a member on a YouTube channel off my phone, it'll navigate you. It's super easy. Beep, bop, boop, boop. I did it on one of the Matière talks. I showed everybody how to do it, but to do it right now, it might be a little bit hard. But ultimately, if you can find a desktop, for some reason it doesn't show up on your mobile device. I don't know why. You have to do it through, if you're using an iPhone, through Safari, and then you sort of navigate it through there. Vivian, nice to see you. I like that, Vivian, you always come in the final minutes, which is nice. So I'm glad that you're able to jump in. We had an awesome conversation on all things Saffron, and I reckon there'll be a few in there that you would enjoy. In particular, I know that you love all things Bois 1920. We did talk about Sacro e Profano, which is a gorgeous one. Everyone, thank you. I'm going to end it now. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for your support and your participation. Good to see everyone. Should we do a banner? You did a killer workout. I like it. All right. Boom. Goodbye. Actually, you know what? We're going to intro music out of here.